Welcome back to the Final Fantasy VII Remake episode. So first thing I want to talk about is just how it's pretty much my favorite game of all time. I've played it a lot, and even when it just came out on the Switch, I've been playing it, haven't beat it again. But throughout the years, I've played and beaten it and restarted and picked up old game files and stuff like that on my PlayStation, dozens and dozens, even though I haven't played it all the way through, dozens and dozens, but I've spent a lot of time playing this. I still have my original copy. I got the booklet. It's got the booklet with it. And I actually still have the Kmart receipt for this thing, which I remember sticking it in here way back in the day. And I kind of went through it recently, and I was amazed that it was still in there. And that's from like 1998. My friend had this game, and I played a lot of it. I actually seen a lot of it first, and he had it. I didn't have my own copy yet, so I saw it way later in the game, and then when I actually picked it up, I just remember going home and opening it and just feeling so awesome. I was like, I finally have this game. And so it was just epic. One of the best games ever. I remember back in 2011 or 12, and my friend showing me like the announcement, because I didn't have a PS3. I still don't. I never had a PS3 or PS4. I'm going to be buying a PS4 just for this game. Pretty much this. And Death Stranding. And then when I get it, at that point it'll be the end of the generation, so I'll be buying a lot of the other, God of War and, stuff like that. But so back in 2011 or 12, whenever the announcement was made, and my friend was like, dude, did you hear that Final Fantasy VII? It's finally getting remade, because for a while, it sort of seemed like a rumor. Some people at Square had kind of teased about it, and it seemed like a thing that would happen in the future, but not anytime soon. And then that kind of switched, and it seemed like, yeah, they're going to be remaking this soon. It's going to be out in 2013, 14, we were hoping. And we saw like the little reveal, and it was like, you should be buying a PS3 for this. And I was just like, well, when the game is actually coming and I know it's going to be on shelves, then I'll buy it. And here we are so many years later, and the game's finally coming out at the beginning of next year, and I just couldn't be more stoked for it. And when they showed this conference, I was just blown away. And I've only watched some of the footage again once, so here I'm just kind of sitting, giving my thoughts, going through, gonna watch a little bit more of this here, because there seems to be a little bit of confusion going on with this game, just for the fact that it's gonna be split into parts. We're getting the initial release that's on 2 Blu-rays, so that's gonna be it's going to be a lot of hours of play and content, actually. But I don't think it's going to be ridiculous, like 60 hours. I mean, these 2 Blu-rays are going to be filled with just graphical quality and music quality, because the size and scope of this game are ridiculously huge. And like I was saying, there's a lot of people confused. It seems like people don't understand. They're thinking that there's just going to be a little bit extra to this game, and that's just not the case. In the original game, you start off in like Sector 1, 2, and then like 7, and I think you leave through the roof of Sector 7, and there's parts of Midgar that you never even saw. Sector 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. More than half of Midgar we've never even seen. So if you imagine the first 5, 6 hours of Final Fantasy VII, and the parts of Midgar that you actually play, realistically, that's only going to be like 10% of this game. Like, the amount of new stuff and new content that we're going to be getting in this game, it's just ridiculous. And as we see more of it, people are going to have their minds completely blown away, because initially this game had other story, character, plot, other setting that actually got cut from the game. So there was other story, setting, plot, characters and stuff that didn't make it into the final cut, and, you know, as they started writing the game and building it out and figuring, you know, how the PlayStation worked, how they were actually going to do it, how many discs it was going to take. I mean, as it is, we got a 3-disc game on the PlayStation 1, and even 2 discs is amazing for the game being $60 unless you go and buy the collector's edition or whatever. But aside from that, imagine back in the day getting this giant 3-disc game, or even like Final Fantasy VIII with 4 discs, or no, sorry. So imagine back in the day getting Final Fantasy VII or even Final Fantasy IX with 4 discs in it back in the day, and the game didn't cost twice as much just because of the cost of the disc. I mean, that's incredible. So you imagine the amount of content that they were going to do and tried to compress and tried to get onto all these discs, and I'm sure there was certain stuff that was just cut, and they're going to be resurrecting that. And they've been sitting on this stuff for 20 years, so I'm sure at some point they figured, you know, well, actually, it's about time with the amount of stuff that they cut from this game, just the sheer amount of things that could have been, that originally probably were supposed to be, and that got cut, and that is going to be making its way back, or just being tinkered with and turned into something greater and bigger. Like, this is going to be one of the best games probably of all time, and just looking at this game, it's like the best looking game out there. There's a few of them, but the amount of work that they've put into this game, you can tell it's been sitting around for 6 years. Like, even when they said that they kind of scrapped development and restarted, like, I almost don't believe that. Like, maybe they had started working in a new engine and they had to kind of redo the way it looked and the way it played, and, like, you know, build all the stuff back up, but they had pretty much everything ready to roll, all the thoughts, all the ideas, all the game mechanics. But, you know, just looking at this game, it makes you wonder if we even need like a PS5, even though it's Square, and I'm sure they've put a lot of money into this, because with that collector's edition, ultra collector's edition, they know a lot of people are going to be buying this. I'm sure they're starting to make discs now, and there's going to be a lot of people buying this game. There's going to be a lot of new people like myself. You know, if I had a PlayStation, I'd be playing it, but I don't, and I just never really bought one or found the opportunity to find one cheap and kind of get back into it after not playing the PS3. Like, I never really even touched a PS3, but a lot of people are going to be buying this game, and I'm sure from the 96 million or whatever it is, almost 100 million now, PS4 owners, I'm sure at least 20% are going to be buying this game. So that's going to equate to, you know, about 20 million copies of this game. And I'm expecting it to sell that many. From between here and Japan to everywhere else in the world, I'm expecting this game to easily sell 20 million, and probably then some. Like, this game isn't going to sell 5 million and then just drop off. There's no way that that's happening. So in a recent tweet from the head of Square, he pretty much said that development is done on this game, and they're already starting up for the second iteration of this game. And like I said, people are confused, and they're thinking that this game is going to be 2 Blu-rays, or somehow maybe if you buy this game, then you basically get the whole game when it comes out, or that it's going to be downloadable. Like, I've heard some people say some pretty absurd things, and that's just not going to be the case. This is going to be the next dozen or so baker's dozen. This is going to be the next baker's dozen of years getting this thing out. I feel like it's going to be probably 4 installments, and it's very well going to take us to 2035, more than likely. Like, if they're taking a good 4 or 5 years per series, but then again, it might only take 2 years since they have everything built up to actually come out with the second part of this game, and that's probably not going to be until 2024. That would be my guess. 2023, 2024. If it's sooner than that, I'll be pretty damn impressed, because they've put a lot of time into this game for the past several years. So that's good to know that in the recent tweet that he said they're already starting on it, because this game just means so much to me. And for a lot of people it doesn't, because you just weren't there at the time. Certain games have certain nostalgia for some people. if you're nostalgic about a certain game, even as dumb as it may be, and you tell me to play it, I'm just gonna play it and go, oh, it means nothing to me. And that's what's so great about video games, is it's like watching an old movie, except an old movie like when you first saw The Lion King. You know, that's a profound experience for any kid pretty much, and it's a staple in society in general. And if you saw that as a kid, well, that's only an hour and a half, but you have a game like this that took 40, 50, 60, hundreds of hours. I mean, you could just keep playing the game, and, you know, at one point I had a save file with like 130 hours on it. So you're spending a lot of time. Those are like great periods of, you know, chunks of our lives that go into these games. So the nostalgia for this game for a lot of us is huge. If you never played the game and you have a Switch or Xbox, you know, I definitely encourage you to spend the 20 bucks. Get the original Final Fantasy VII. It's pretty close, you know, they tried calling it like a remaster, and it's really not. It's just a texture upgrade, but I would encourage you to play that, check that out. At least get several hours in, or play the first dozen of hours.
I feel trapped.
Because to me, my favorite part is Midgar, so I'm like super pumped for this part of the game, more so than later. But I know I'll, in between buying this game in a PS4 and playing this next year, when in another year or two it's announced for the next part of the game, I'm gonna be even more hyped, because it's amazing the amount of actual work that they've put into this. Like they're taking characters like Biggs and Wedge and Jesse and, you know, President Shinra and Heidegger, and they're redoing all of them. They're giving them extra dialogue. They all have new voice acting. Their story plot and their character arc has all thickened. They've just really fleshed everything out, and I can't wait to play this. And it's not really that far away now. It's going to be this and Animal Crossing, which is a great contrast. But day one is I'm going to be playing this. I'm going to be staying up possibly for 36 hours and just playing it. I might even live stream it and just hang out. But like this part here, they're saying that Sephiroth, they're giving him a little bit more screen time in terms of the earlier part of the game, because in the actual game we don't really see him till a little bit later. We see a little bit, but they're giving him a lot more this time. And these hallucinations that Cloud has involving him and Zack, like, they're going to involve Sephiroth very heavily, and I just can't wait to see that. This game, it's already a masterpiece, just the way it looks. One of my big reservations that I have is the music mainly. Like, still listening to the music today gives me these certain feelings on every single song. There's not one track throughout the entire album where you listen and you just kind of skip it or go, you know, I don't really care about that.
On a project like this.
So anyways, this game is just a full-blown masterpiece already, and I just can't wait to see it and get my hands on it. What do you guys think? Did you play this game? Like, are you going to be buying the original, or are you just waiting for this one? I encourage you to play the old one and just get a feel for what it is, what the story is, the importance of it, the look of it, the feel of it, the look of mainly those first several hours just going through Midgar. Even that is worth it alone by the time this game actually comes out and you play that and you can see the difference in it. So let me know in the comments down below. I'm also doing a giveaway, so check that out in the gleam.io link down below in the description. Follow me over on Twitter. Hit the thumbs up if you're new to the DDub channel and you want to be a DDub. Dubscribe, and I will catch you guys later. Peace out.